It's another Earth Science video with me, Mr. Norris from Norris Teaches Science. Um, we're continuing to talk about biosphere stuff, information, and today we're going to talk about biodiversity. And so in this video, I can explain the importance of biodiversity in the ecosystem in the world. So what is biodiversity? Well, if you didn't even know what it is, what the word means, you could break it down with the roots. You have bio here. Bio means life, and diversity means a great amount. So biodiversity indicates the number and diversity of species on Earth. There's an estimated 13 million species on Earth. 13 million species. Now, right now, we're thinking we're losing some of those species because of the sixth mass extinction, and this is the first mass extinction caused by another creature. Why is biodiversity important? One, it's one of Earth's greatest natural resources. Organisms on this planet, both plant and animals, give us many different resources. One, they provide food for us. I mean, we're talking about like beef from cows, chicken from chicken, pork from pigs, salad from plants. Industrial products like paper and rubber. If you haven't realized, I made these videos during the COVID-19 pandemic, and toilet paper, that's an industrial product, and we do need our species to make that. And also medicines like painkillers, antibiotics, anti-cancer drugs. We think that the cure for cancer is somewhere in the Amazon rainforest. Now, how are humans reducing biodiversity? One, we're altering habitats. We're changing what the habitat looks like. We're getting rid of the habitat for mining, for homes, stuff like that. We're hunting species to extinction. We're even poaching species. That means you're killing them when they're not allowed. We're introducing toxic compounds into food webs, causing organisms to die that cause the other organisms to die. We're introducing foreign species to a new environment, which can cause a whole bunch of problems. And of course, climate change. Climate change is going to change the climate of the area. That's going to change the biome. That's going to change the plants. That's going to change the animals that can live there. So habitat alteration is when land is developed and natural habitat may be destroyed, like building a home or building homes, getting rid of trees for farming, logging, stuff like that. The habitat supplies what the organism needs, but if you destroy the habitat, the organisms can die. One of the biggest examples is the Florida panther. Florida has a panther, and it's very endangered. Not many people see them, but because of population growth and development of subdivisions and homes and buildings, the Florida panther lost its habitat and is dying out at this point. We can also have introduced species. We call this invasive species, where we purposely introduce a new species into a environment that is not their native environment. And it can cause extinction of native species because there's no natural predator for these animals, so they just keep thriving and thriving and thriving. Florida is a good example. The pythons in Florida, they got into the Everglades. They're reproducing. Nothing really eats them, and they produce a lot of offspring. And so you can see in this picture some pythons in Florida, and even their animal control there has a whole section to deal with the pythons and other invasive species in Florida. They also have something called a lizard called tegu that are down there, and they're invasive as well. In North Carolina, where I live, one of our invasive species is a plant called kudzu. It's a vine that grows rapidly and is really hard to kill because nothing really eats it here. Bioaccumulation, this is when toxins are introduced in low levels of a food web. So you get it, it's introduced, and then as something eats it, more of that toxin is in the next thing and the next thing. And can kill the organisms, it can cause mutations. The best idea of this bioaccumulation, biomagnification, idea is mercury. Mercury occurs in our water and fish get it. And as a small fish is ate by a large fish that's ate by a large fish, we as humans, we eat fish. And so when we eat it, we do get mercury. Well, pregnant women are told not to eat like shellfish and seafood at all, really, because the mercury can get in their system and can go to their children, the child that's developing in the womb, and cause birth defects. Extinction is another problem. This is when a species disappears from all or part of its range, like the dodo bird here. Um, it's caused by habitat destruction, caused by introduced species or invasive species, by hunting too much, climate change. Um, and before they go extinct, we usually call them an endangered species. This is when their numbers fall so low that they could become extinct. Other animals, polar bears, elephants, they're all endangered species that could go extinct if something's not done. Now, the Endangered Species Act was enacted to help save some of these animals. It began in 1973. It protects the animal and it protects animals and plants. But not only does it protect them from being hunted, they are also protecting the land where the organism lives, because that organism needs their habitat to live in that area. So we hope these help the organism's population come out of struggling. And you can see in the picture over here a couple of animals that are endangered, and you can't hunt them, you can't kill them, you can't even have them as pets. It's all against the law. But that's how we are messing with biodiversity and why biodiversity is important in the world. Hope you learned something today. And I am Mr. Norris, and I'm signing out for this video.